What have you built in the past, in your past, that could serve you now or in the future? Okay, what are you building today that could serve you in the future tomorrow? I'm getting fucking smashed by these insects. Where do you think you need to take a step back to take a better step forward? It can be as simple as isolating for a period, step back, to hear your true self, okay, understand what you want, what you like, what you want to do, and what's the best next move for you. Better step forward. She built over time so much competence that when she arrived in Crimea to help with the horrible situation there, even though the fragile ego of men wouldn't let her do her thing, eventually they couldn't stop her but let her do her thing, because competence is undeniable. It's 1854 and the Crimean War is going really, really badly for Britain. It was the first ever event documented by journalists in real time on the spot. So what Britain received as means of these documents and records was absolutely horrifying. Wounded soldiers gathered in small places, lying on the floor with rats. They had poor sanitation and all sorts of stuff. So more soldiers were dying from a disease due to these terrible sanitary conditions than from gunshots literally on the battlefield. But Britain had an ace in the hole. Her name was Florence Nightingale. But soon they will start calling her the lady with the lamp. Before I tell you what happened next, let's take a step back. Who was she? So, born in Florence in Italy to a wealthy, really wealthy family, she was named after the city. Now imagine the family was in a 2-year honeymoon basically, and they had 2 daughters, so you can imagine the level of wealth. In any case, she received a very good education, considered the time for women. So mentored by her father, who taught her about philosophy, mathematics and statistics. Since a young age, she strongly believed she had a calling from God to achieve great things, to achieve something, to do something important. However, she didn't know what this calling was. She didn't know where to put his energy. But after traveling many times to Europe and Middle East, one choice became clear to her: nursing. Nursing wasn't even a profession before Nightingale baptized it. It was considered a job, quote unquote, for lazy people, for lazy women who just wanted to make enough for the drink, for the gin at night. Or maybe an attempt to find a suitable husband and live comfortably. So as a woman of her status, by script, she would have had to marry to a good husband and work in the household. But this didn't quite make sense for her. And as you can imagine, obviously, her parents weren't really into it, especially her father, who initially pushed back on the idea of such a career. But she was confident this was her calling, so insisted. Her father, in desperation, sent her to Germany for a 3-month training to learn the basic of nursing, in hope she would understand that this wasn't a career for her. But the exact opposite happened. This 3-month training, absolutely cemented her love for the subject. And after coming back from Germany, thanks also to her father and the connection they had, managed to get as a manager to a hospital which was caring for a sick woman. And here, she developed the skills that will make her in the future a valuable resource in the Crimean War, and also to Britain in general, because she did a lot of stuff, and now we're going to cover that. So what did she do, though? She improved cleanliness, first of all, and organization. What do I mean? She installed, for example, bells in every room where patients were. This was a big thing because now patients could summon nurses when they needed, which wasn't a thing before then. I don't know how, but so they meant fucking insects again. She managed better the finances of the institution and brought hot running water in the institution, which was a big thing back then. And so in 1854, the entering of Britain in the Crimean War. When the Crimean War began, British newspapers started reporting the terrible conditions of the soldiers, of the wounded soldiers there. So Nightingale realized that she had trained all of her life for this, basically, and wanted to help. And thanks to important connections she had and relationships she had built earlier in her life, she managed to get an opportunity to go. And so, within a week, grouped up 37-ish, 38, depends on the source, nurses, and left. However, there was a problem. She had to overcome male authority to save lives, basically. Male authorities didn't want her there. The chief medic there, army medic, considered a woman useless, and they didn't want them there, basically. But competence is competence, guys. You can deny that. Okay. And so, slowly but surely, started gaining trust by effectively coordinating the group of nurses into the whole mess she found to basically fix it. So what did they do? They organized beds so soldiers weren't lying on the floor. They cleaned everything, rats, and improved ventilation, improved water quality, to help and try avoid as many probabilities of getting disease as possible. And she did one more thing that was actually the most important one. She cared about the soldiers as humans, dude, as humans, and not numbers on a list or names on a newspaper. So, but how did she do that? She actually, and at night, when most officers were asleep, because remember, she had to overcome judgment, she took a lamp and walked between the patients at night. Okay, she didn't do anything medical in on those walks at night. She just went there and chatted, talked with the soldiers, with the patients, asked them how they felt, and so on. She literally humanized them. She made them feel heard, not like a number on a list or name on a newspaper. And that's when they started calling her the lady with the lamp. Obviously, Florence's legacy expands beyond Crimea. She used the rest of her life to continue. She also created an institution for the profession of nursing. She did a lot of stuff. Crimea was just the amplifier, the stepping stone. So we can extrapolate many ideas from the same story. I know the title is One Story, One Idea, but I'm going to over-deliver for you guys. So you need to take a step back to take a better step forward. So Nightingale, I hope I don't butcher this name. Anyway, we'll see. As we have seen, was in a really wealthy family. Nonetheless, she refused to settle for a normal, boring life. Even though it was better than 99.9% of lifestyle, in those times, she took a step backwards in social capital, in social status, to take a better step forward, which we remember her name today, which worked. Okay, she took a step back in social status to take a better step forward. We remember her legacy and everything. In your case, where do you think you need to take a better a step back to take a better step forward? What do you think is that area? It doesn't have to be something crazy. It can be as simple as isolating for a period, step back, to hear your true self, okay, understand what you want, what you like, what you want to do, and what's the best next move for you. Better step forward, okay? So competence is undeniable. She built over time so much competence that when she arrived in Crimea to help with the horrible situation there, even though the fragile ego of men wouldn't let her do her thing, eventually they couldn't stop her but let her do her thing, because competence is undeniable. If you are good at the social game, you understand people very well, you have empathy, you are humble, for example, you are able to be strong but nice at the same time. So you are able to be warm, you have warmth and also competence, which is just charisma, by the way. But anyway, at some point people can't help but notice your competence, whether they realize it or not. I do believe you have competence as well. You are very capable of doing something. Okay, think of it. You are very capable of doing something. Whatever it is, weird or not, crazy or not, you are competent at something. What is that? Have you noticed it? Do people notice it? And where would you love to get more competence in, if not? And honestly, I think you have it, so double down on your competence. And remember that competence is also a skill. Competence is a skill. You acquire competence through doing stuff, learning stuff, iterating on stuff. And since it's just a skill, you just need to endure the pain of acquiring it. What you build in the past serves you in the future. Nightingale, obviously, thanks to her family and the position of her family, the wealthy, the social class of her family, but also her, the travel, the voyages, the journey she has done throughout her life. She was able to meet interesting people and so create connection that later changed her life. So the main example is the Secretary of War, which met Nightingale very early on in her life. And by continually iterating and maintaining this connection and working on this connection, when an opportunity came, what she had built in the past served her. So said, okay, you are capable. I think you are the only one capable of doing this. I know you. You have track record because she worked at the hospital in London, which was caring for a sick woman. And she did a lot of stuff there, which proved she was capable. You can go. She got this opportunity because, yes, she had competence, but also because she had relationships she had built in the past. So what have you built in the past, in your past, that could serve you now or in the future? What are you building today that could serve you in the future tomorrow? And I'm not saying to be a transactional person. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but the point is not to be a transactional human being, or to use people. What I'm trying to get across is the idea that the skills you build in life, the relationship you get and you evolve and you create and you compound, the environments you get yourself into, the experiences you create and live, all this stuff compounds and could serve you in the future. You never know that. So go out there, do stuff, meet people, be a human being, be kind, be humble, be competent, especially, and it will probably serve you in the future. So in the end, I hope the story of Florence Nightingale was helpful and inspiring in some way. I hope the ideas of this episode sparked some curiosity, maybe, or some ideas. Finally, ideas, I'm fucking anyway, to implement in your life and so improve your life. And remember that life is meant to be lived, guys. So until next time, take care.